Welcome to the Nerd Party.
I'm Darren Moser.
I'm Philip Gilfus.
I'm Daniel Prue.
And this is City Alpha 3.
Welcome to City Alpha 3, a Star Trek podcast here on the Nerd Party Network. Happy 2023. I'm Philip Gilfus, joined by Darren Moser and Daniel Prue. I did remember everyone's names. How is everyone doing in the early part of this Stardate 2-3, whatever?
I kind of wish that Voyager had done some sort of New Year, event. Because there's so many years, obviously the other shows show the passage of time, but they're separated. So what kind of customs or, cool holographic shenanigans would they get into on a New Year's Eve party? I think that would be, is someone going to turn into a cow? Someone has to turn into a cow, so.
We're 1/60th closer to home. Yay!
I know, it's more the depressing, carving in to the wall. Another year stuck in the Delta Quadrant.
I guess the 1 year focused episode would be the year of hell. So I guess that's my answer right there.
There should have been a new year, near the end of year of hell, another year. Hopefully this one will be better. So
I thought you were slyly referencing 11:59, Darren. And I don't want to.
There you go. The ultimate New Year's
I never
episode.
talk about 11:59, but you're right. I had forgotten that on purpose.
Yeah. So there you go. What's anything going on in Trek? Daniel, I did end up getting the Prodigy game, and it's been fun. I'm sure, as you said the last time we spoke, it's probably more fun when you have two people, but you can play it with one person. But I will say, I also agree with what you said, because remember you saying, are we sure this is for kids? Because I'm at a level now, and I'm a little stuck. I'm I don't know. Maybe I have to get a small child to help me, because I'm a little stuck where I am right now.
So you've seen all of Prodigy, right?
Yeah.
Does the story fit in anywhere, or is it just a side thing?
No, it fits. It's beginning of mid-season 1.
Okay.
Because it's after Gwen gets... It's after the big holodeck confrontation, and then Gwen loses her memory. This would be during that.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Which, that's a good place to put it, right between the season break. That large, massive gap of time where we didn't have an episode. So
are we ever going to get season 2 of Prodigy?
I'm sure.
Or is that 2028?
Who knows?
It'll be in the future, but
in the future. So as of now, as not to mark us and date us, but speaking of gaps of time, we ended finally, not in a bad way, season 1 of Star Trek Prodigy. So the next up is season trace of Star Trek Picard, and which is next month. I forget what day, but next month. And then I believe Discovery's afterwards. Don't quote me.
I didn't know Picard was coming so soon.
Yeah, I have Picard as February 16th.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, happy birthday to me almost. Okay.
Yeah. Well, you get all of Next Generation as a birthday.
And Discovery, we particularly aren't caring. But yes.
It's coming. It'll be here at some point.
And then I feel like it's all... obviously... I think...
Unbeknown, Commander Burnham is thrown even farther into the future.
Sure, that's right. In the year 3000... No. But yeah, because I don't think they've announced it, but I have no doubt more Lower Decks and obviously more Strange New Worlds. That when we know 100%, I know there's season 2 Strange New Worlds, so... And then, I don't know, Prodigy takes forever to make, so it probably will be 2024, so we'll see.
Does it, though? Or is it just on a really crappy release schedule? I don't know.
Anyway, so lots of good Star Trek to come. But before we talk new Star Trek...
That's all there is in Star Trek, is the new Star Trek, right?
That's right. No one cares about the 20th century. You 20th century Trek. But we're going to talk about it because I just finished the rewatch I've been talking about forever and ever and ever. As of yesterday, watched Endgame, Star Trek Voyager done. So yeah, I started that rewatch in 2022. So
That's my favorite part when Doctor Strange is opening all the portals and then the Voyager slips through. You know what I mean? It's real cool.
Yeah, I was going to say, before there's Endgame, there was Endgame. Before we loved it, we hated it.
Yeah, 7 opens the portal and walks through. So I thought we'd talk about season 7 Voyager, both what we might have wanted, and then what we got, and then all my good and bads in between. So I know y'all were not doing a Voyager rewatch, and I don't know if you can transport yourself back to 1990. I don't know when it was. Was it 2000?
It was
2000.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, episode 1 was October 4th of 2000. So it's 2000 to 2001.
2001. Okay.
Yeah.
So 2001. So anyway, but if you can, or if you can't remember, that's fine. But what were you thinking about season 7 Voyager? I mean, do you remember back then of like, oh, they're gonna go home, or what were you thinking?
I'm trying to remember if
I know it's a long time ago.
they had made it clear that this was the final season, like, because usually they're like, now the final season, Star Trek Voyager on UPN. Like, I can't remember if that's the.
I mean, Darren,
that's how they did.
This was the 3rd Star Trek series. It was hitting its 7th season. Everyone knows. Every single Star Trek series hit 7 seasons and would always be so.
Were we getting prep trailers for Enterprise yet? I mean, it's not even in the grave yet, and
I would think so. Because it started right after 9/11.
Well, but.
It says
That's
right
true,
here on Memory
but they
Alpha.
would have been shooting it. Like, they have to strike one set to build the next. So
You say that, they had DS9 and Voyager going.
well, but
Not at this time, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah.
It says right here on Memory Alpha, Brandon Braga stepped down as showrunner to spend a year of pre-production on Enterprise. And it was replaced. So, yeah, they definitely knew that's where they were going.
Okay, so the 7th year, and I just remember that apocryphal story from Kate Mulgrew of like, they've wrapped the last shot of Endgame, and she wanted to take a second to look around, and they're like, nope, get out, we're literally tearing it down this afternoon to build Enterprise. Again, who knows how
The next hit Star Trek show.
Yeah, the next hit, 7-year,
Not
fully
your
running.
daddy's Star Trek.
Well, I mean, to speak about 7 years, though, I know this on Enterprise and not on Voyager, but I actually just came across a little interview with Scott Bakula, and he talks about that, and he talks about, just being grateful and happy for what they did do in Enterprise and the show they got to produce. And he's like, other networks wanted them. He's like, but we probably would have been canceled after one season on any of these other networks. And so he said, if you want to mark Enterprise as a failure for not getting to 7, as if like, and he was very clear, like, that's an imaginary thing. It doesn't mean anything. But he said he was very proud of what they had done and the time they had been given. So,
yeah, and we've all promised to do our Enterprise rewatch, right? But a 7-season Enterprise would be completely different. And I'm not saying because it's longer, but because Enterprise was the show that was always in trouble. So, I mean, that made it its show. That made it, the 3rd season, we're going to do this completely different thing. Oh, this 4th season, we may not, so like, if they were never under threat, season 3 and 4 would be completely different.
You guys probably feel a little bit differently than I do about this. But
where's that documentary?
To bring it back to Voyager, I think a lot of the reason, to me, Voyager feels kind of like, especially why Endgame doesn't work is because, like, it feels like there's no progress. Like, as in, they're not actually getting anywhere, then all of a sudden they're just home. They didn't have any pressure to, like, sort of shift and change and do different things. Voyager just spent 7 years doing the same sort of stuff. So if they had a little bit of that pressure, I think maybe we would have seen... Because, like, we get the one jump, like, I think season 4 or whatever it is, in terms of actual distance. But that didn't change the nature of the show or anything like that. They were just slightly closer on the map or whatever. But I just felt like... because Endgame is so abrupt, like, and if we're going to talk about just season 7, like, there should have been, like, lots of little markers along the way. And we didn't get a lot of that. So
yeah, if they knew it was their last season, make it the season that the entire 26 episodes is that final stretch arc. Like, yeah, because it felt like, okay, let me see. So we're towards the end. I mean, we literally have Homestead, episode 22 of 25 is when they're like, oh yeah, we better start hitting the gas and getting and that's when Neelix peels off. But like, it literally feels like the last 4 episodes are the get home arc, which is crazy fast.
yeah. It's like it snuck up on them. Even though for 7 years the question was, are they getting home or not?
We better make them get home. That's
we got episode 26 or 24, whatever, coming up. We should we just do a regular one? No, we can do it. We can do a regular one. Come on.
Maybe it's only 25 episodes, so they thought they were going to get like 27 for some reason. Like, so we got to do it faster. Okay. Yeah.
All right, guys. So I got this great one for 23. The Doctor Writes a Hologram. It'll be great. And they have to come home the next one. Okay.
See if
so thinking this big finale with the Borg. Well, you do remember, like, they vanquished the Borg. That's what this season is leading to. But they also have to get home, right? Oh yeah. So the Borg have this space highway that they're gonna use. And they'll be home in like a minute. They could have used it at any time. They just didn't know, even though they have a Borg crew member.
It's like, season 7. All right, guys. All right. Someone's sitting there like, okay, we're going to get the go home story. Like, so Q's son comes back. No, God.
We don't
get getting home.
Q's son.
Don't we have important things to say today at this point? Oh, man.
I mean, we get some great episodes.
Oh, no. Yeah. Well, I was going to give you some options before we got into what actually happened about, because it sounds like you guys are pitching basically the DS9 approach of like
the last 10 episodes. That's actually exactly what DS9 did.
Of just wrapping literally we're going to use this season. I mean, not the whole season, as you say, but most of the season to literally wrap up everyone's
almost 50% of the season.
Almost. Not in this era when there's 20 million. Or it's like, it's like, do you do the DS9? Do you do, and this is kind of what I thought they were doing, and they kind of did it, but not really, what I call a consequences season of like everything that they've done on the Delta Quadrant this year or this season. We're going to kind of see what's happened. And we got some of that with Friendship 1, not really, because that wasn't their fault, that was Earth. But like some of like what they've done is now coming up for them. They kind of got that with the Hirogen story. That may have been season 6, but anyway. But all the stuff that's kind of sort of, that's what I call it, the consequences season. Like, this is the final season, and this is what their effect, good and bad, has done. Or do you, and this is controversial, do you just do like TNG and or Quantum Leap? They never get home. Like, it's just.
Well, that's what I was going to say. It's way more interesting. That's what makes the ending so frustrating, anyways. Because again, like, to have all of that and then. They just get home instantly is such an unsatisfying ending. Even like, maybe all of season 7 leads to them deciding to settle on a planet or something like that. Or if you want to do just the TNG sort of, we're closer to home and we're still heading
to the journey.
To the journey. At least that's way more interesting than, nope, we just figured it out and we're home now. Because then that's like way more unsatisfying. Because you're like, okay, well, now what do you do? Well, but whatever. But yeah.
Or and this is always, I know, the fantasy, but this is too radical. They get home and somehow, maybe not instantly, but then season 7 is maybe like half. Is the final 10 is maybe Voyager at home, and then what happens?
That'd be great.
Yeah, I was trying to think if there was another show that did it that way, Philip, and I'm sure there is. I just can't remember exactly which one, where like the real finale, like the climax finale, is like the second to last or the third to last episode, and there's like one or two falling
Coda.
action. Yeah, and I know there's a good example, but I really can't remember it right now. But that would have been, I don't know, about 10 episodes. Like, that's quite a bit. Like, this episode, we focus on what Chakotay is doing. And, you know, but I think at least one, maybe two falling action episodes would be really interesting to see, you know, just, yeah, how does Seven integrate into Alpha Quadrant society? Are the Maquis all imprisoned? Does Harry actually get a field promotion at the end of the day? Like, you know, something like that. I think, you know, meet Admiral Paris, like get a debrief scene, or do them in little little like clumps, like you have Chakotay and Janeway with like the Admiral, and then you have like all the Maquis people, you know, drinking at a bar, you know, to commemorate again, because it's back in their faces now of all our friends are dead, like, you know, something like that.
You'd even have an episode, like, it doesn't have to be this traumatic, but a trial episode. No, it may just be a formality trial, but like, I mean, there has to be a pardon, you know.
There'd be
these are
some
still
sort of
Maquis.
hearing.
Yeah, go through the hearing, and they know, even though they're not telling the Maquis, like, we're going to pardon all of you. Like, but we have to go dot the I's. And of course, B'Elanna, like, they're all like pissed because they're like, what? We just wait through the impossible. Yeah.
Crewman Chell, you know, says, I'm guilty. No, I don't know. So, yeah. So anyway, so there was what actually happened during season 7 I wanted to go over. I had some things, and they're not all bad. There's some things that are good, so this is in no particular order. Icheb. Now, I don't know if you guys like Icheb or not, but, you know, they introduced the Borg kids season 6, and they do use them. They don't just like kids and ignore them like some people. I mean, they do a little, but not really. They acknowledge them. They are in a scene every now and then. But I thought season 7, they did use Icheb. I mean, he is part of the crew now. So, I mean, I thought that was good. I mean, sort of like a, it's not like an Ezri situation, but it is sort of like, we got a new guy here. It's our final season. He shows up occasionally. I mean, he's a secondary character, but still, Voyager doesn't usually have secondary characters, so, you know, he gets more screen time than Naomi Wildman.
Why isn't he? My question is, shouldn't he be wearing Seven's hand-me-down
Skin tight
cat suits? Yeah. Why? He's a Borg, right? Wasn't that the excuse they gave?
Yes, it was something where
sure they did.
her skin dermal layer had to, yeah.
Anyways,
It was a poor excuse at that, but yeah, I'd forgotten that they had Icheb still. I still don't even know what they were really doing with the Borg children. Like,
I mean, that is a good question. What is this purpose? You know, what are you trying to fill out here? Are you trying to make the younger perspective, which is fine, but
it's like they're trying to fill that, you know, because Seven was filling the what is it to be human, discovering my humanity, and she was still filling that role when the Borg children showed up. So it's like, I don't feel like we needed more of that perspective. And even before that, the Doctor was filling that role. So we had that perspective character already.
yeah, I think it is as if they were trying to give her that mother role or character aspect. You know, now that you've learned it, now she has to teach someone else what she learned. And I don't think it succeded, but that's not necessarily
and she
criticism.
plugs him into the Borg alcove and says, learn, and then walks away. And that's the equivalent.
Because, I mean, she... Like, the Seven Icheb relationship, because it's like episode 2 or 3 where he ends up saving her life, you know, with the cortical node. But I don't know how to describe that relationship. And not in a bad way. I just don't know, like, because they're not mother and son, really. I don't know, aunt and nephew. I don't know, like, they're close,
mentor,
but they're not. It's not like brother
mentor.
sister. Maybe that's it. I don't know how I would.
They're 7 of 9 and 3 of 12 or whatever.
Exactly.
You know.
So, but yeah, and I think Icheb, or Manu, and it's not his fault. Like, again, what do you want to do with this character? Because I feel like, unfortunately, he falls into sort of the Tuvok trap that, like, I mean, Icheb is, a nerd, basically. He has no personality. He's super smart. He's Wesley Crusher without a personality, really. He's fine. I know I'm slamming him, but, that's the way he is. He's bored. What can you do? It would have been interesting if he developed emotions that season. You could see more of him becoming a human. Or wait, he's not human.
I'm surprised we didn't have Egypt falls in love with a contemporary peer episode. Like, it feels like that was something that we could have had. Although we would have had to establish that there is a relatively young Starfleet officer, because there's no families really on this ship.
Yeah, Naomi's a little young for him. So.
Yeah, Naomi's a little young.
He ends up having a miscommunication. He thinks B'Elanna's in love with him for half an episode, but that's...
Yeah.
But it would have been interesting, an alien. You could do the dolphin, basically. Look, how many episodes do we redo in this franchise? But you do the TNG dolphin when Wesley, and the girl. You could have a girl, but, or guy, doesn't matter to me. But, that would have been a cute little Icheb episode.
Well, yeah, or, again, you can do whatever you want. So have do a dolphin, but a slow burn dolphin over 4 episodes, like the first 4 episodes. And it's like, oh, yeah, we're heading that way, so we're going to pick up these 5 members of this species, and it's a one-way trip for them, but we're heading that direction. So, and then for those 5 episodes, those are kind of background characters, and it impacts, again, I know that is shifting from episodic television, which is what Voyager is, but...
Yeah, but to me, that's funny, though. Season 7. And I know... it's still 2000 or 2001, whatever it is, and so they're not changing. But what are you gonna do to me? Cancel me? Okay, we're doing that anyway.
Do whatever we want. Characters they want to kill, they can kill anything they want to do.
Don't bring, because they killed Joe Carey 3 episodes till the end, and that was the most BS. Are you? Because it's not like they had the actor back that year. It's like, we're bringing you back this one episode, and that's such a... Anyway, I thought that was terrible. So another big thing in season 7, and I thought it was done really well, because I was sort of binging these, so I got one after the other. But Paris and B'Elanna, that's basically a lot, like a quarter of season 7. They propose, get married, like that, snap fingers. And then she gets pregnant, and then she has her challenges and issues with her child, and her B'Elanna's background with her father and Klingon identity, and then you have the prophecy episode with the Klingons who think her baby's a promised one, and then you have the baby being born, and so it's like a quarter of the season is B'Elanna, Tom, marriage, baby. So that was at least some.
Have a name?
Mural. It was named after her mom, B'Elanna's mom.
I do like the prophecy one with the old Klingon. That was really cool. And I don't know, where do you guys stand on Workforce? For me, I could leave it. I feel like it's 2 episodes that are very contained. They aren't going anywhere for 2 episodes. I don't know what they're trying to explore. I could take other things in that slot, but that's just
the insurance episode.
No. Critical Care is that. Workforce is the 2-parter where they all lose their memories.
They lose their memory and they get reprogrammed and
become part of the workforce.
But they have little hints of their previous lives, and it's kind of is Janeway going to get romantic again? Maybe.
Yeah, because she gets married with a local civilian. She starts early. I agree with you, Darren, because it is sort of a spin their wheel again. We're saying season 7's a ticking clock, and they're like, plenty of time, guys. What do you want to do? Q makes him go to Renaissance Fair. That'd be good, guys. Season 7. But I would say, Darren, what I think they could have done, because I personally don't think it's a bad 2-parter. But what I think they could have done is explore, as you said earlier with season 7, what if they just ended with them settling on a planet and then that's their life? I think Workforce, you could have really bled through their personalities, because obviously in Workforce they lose, they have these implanted memories. But it'd be interesting if you just made them who they are. It is Janeway, it is Annika, it is Tuvok, but they just have that tweak that they don't remember that. So it's still them. But then you could see them living their life.
Yeah, it would have given us a what if Voyager stayed in the Delta Quadrant. but without having to actually commit to that path.
It's a
of
cheat,
story.
but it would have been.
No, that's not a cheat. I'd say that's good storytelling.
It's Year of Hell, but so instead of Year of Hell, like, what if they we showed the progress of this shipping and this, then we'll do it for 2 parts. This one's like, what if they stayed on a planet and they had to build relationships? We'll do it for 2 parts. And reset button. So, but yeah, because that was interesting. Because I think Mulgrew gets a chance to act a little more because she's not. I don't mean this in a bad way. Look, Picard's an uptight captain too, but you don't get uptight captain. You get she's relaxing, she's funny, she's flirting. She's sometimes we see Janeway like that when she's allowed to be, talking with Mark and the dog and all that. But you got to see her sort of laid back, and it would have been interesting to see other characters because you see Annika going by the name Annika, but of course that's what's been implanted. But it didn't seem like Tuvok. I mean, some of the characters we don't get to see all the time. It would have been interesting to see what their real life would have been like.
Well, and we do see Shattered is really cool. The time jumping, kind of taking a play from All Good Things, where you have what if we wanted to see Seska again? How do we get her back? Oh, well, some sort of weird time travel episode.
Yeah, Shattered. I mean, it's fine. It's such, again, if you had the entire 7 seasons and every episode in front of you, Discovery, holographic style. That's a season 6 episode to me because it is good. It's so good, but putting it in season 7 is this time travel. You're we almost want that to be the finale, but you don't want it to be the finale. But then you're because it's a celebration of Voyager. But then where do you put it? I almost would want to put it just season 6 because then we could have this it's in the celebration of Voyager. Whereas season 7, you're you do this time travel thing. It's got to go because you're showing the future of Voyager. which we're gonna change. It'd be like doing All Good Things as the mid-season 7. No, you can't show the future and then negate it with a season finale. But
yeah, I mean, Stargate had a kind of similar episode called 1969, where they got thrown into the past, and then they're trying
was it 1969?
It was. It's exactly where they got thrown to. And then they get thrown. They're trying to get back to the future, but they miss they go in at the wrong time, and so they end up in the far future, 22 or no, 2025 or something like that, which is from a show when it was made. That's far in the future. Anyway, they have another character there to use a bit of tech and send them back to their proper time, but it is kind of well, what you're showing us this tiny glimpse of the maybe future, but how much do we hold on to that?
Yeah, another episode. I'm not going to go episode by episode, but just as an example, Repression, and you may not remember it because I didn't necessarily remember it. This is the one where Tuvok basically gets an awakened memory and starts attacking. Hand quoting the Maquis members, and nobody can figure out who the attacker is. And then it turns out that he's basically was programmed by this Bajoran Maquis person, and they now and then when they say the magic word, all the Maquis people take over the ship, and they put on their Maquis uniforms again, and they're all Maquis. And it's fine, it's whatever. But I thought it was interesting because again, season 7, we're bringing up the Maquis. And so I think that makes me think this whole how are we going to bring that up? It sees again. Nobody cares about the ticking clock but me. Yes, I'm watching these episodes. But I mean, you don't have to make a meal out of it. But you'd have to bring it up at some point that oh, we're going to go home. I mean, that would have been some sort of episode of people thinking about. It doesn't have to be we're going home. Oh, there's the wormhole. But just an episode that somehow makes everyone think about what are we going to do when we go home, and then the Maquis, I'm are we going to have to go for a trial, or do we want to be Maquis anymore? What's the state? Because they're in contact with Starfleet now. What's the status of their colonies? What's their purpose? And you could even because some of the people B'Elanna we know, okay, is married to Tom, and I mean I don't know what Chakotay wants to do.
Well, by season 7, we had won the Dominion War, right?
Right. Yeah.
So I think we need to be name dropping Deep Space Nine and Bajor and all these name drop them. Come on. Like you said, once we establish contact with the Alpha Quadrant,
Change the
why not?
uniforms.
I would have liked that, to tell you the truth.
I mean, we all know why they didn't because of budget. Like, that's a massive budget to redo everybody's. Because I'm sure they have like 2 or 3 of every single person's costume ready to go.
Deep
like,
Space Nine's not using theirs anymore.
Okay, then you get a.
They just pull up like Bashir. Who fits Bashir? Come on,
I was gonna say,
you're about.
we did this in Generations, and it didn't work. It was close, but not enough. But yeah, no, yeah, that's true. It's interesting. It's like they focus on let's reopen these interesting stories from season 1 rather than let's focus on, well, what are we going to do when we get home? As if we don't know that they're going to get home at the end of season 7. Like, it's a Star Trek show. Of course they're going to get home.
Yeah, but if you establish that earlier, if since we're in contact with Starfleet, for example, we found this stable wormhole that's 1 light year, whatever, 1 year away from where you
It's
are.
going to take you 5 episodes to get to.
Yes, exactly.
And that's distance in space time.
But once you get there, we know you can get home safe. So then there you go. Then you have a setup. Now you actually have people having to actually wrestle with these
The
questions.
goalpost moves way closer, and everyone starts thinking about actually being home, even though it's been false herrings before. But this sounds real.
See, now that sounds cool because that sounds cool. Like, let's say 5 episodes. We do that. So yeah, Pathfinder. Hey, by the way, it's there. It's awesome, great. And then you spend the next episode. You can have things still happen, as far as some of the episodes that happen. But you still have that. What are we going to do? And what's this going to mean? And what are your plans? And that'll be some cool stuff. And then maybe in that final episode, we didn't. They never detected the Borg right there, and you could still have this final Borg Queen to do confrontation. But yeah, that would have been cool to have that sort of lead up, because then I feel like that really builds up the fans of like, we're telling them they're going home in 5 episodes. Like we promise, but you're building that up, and then they're like, okay, well, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Because we know it's not just going to be as simple as that.
Right. Yeah, of course not. And it would be interesting too, because like then you have the characters dealing with actual issues, and it's not. Again, it doesn't feel like it comes out of nowhere. It's like, oh yeah, the last 2 episodes, let's make it home.
You know what would have been interesting is some sort of, moment where Admiral Paris is kind of almost starting to debrief, Janeway, and she's like, hey, now, like, we're not back yet. Like I love being in contact with Starfleet, but we still have to run our own ship like we're cut off because even though we can talk to you, like, we are still on our own out here. And so kind of have a little bit of pushback of like, we're trying to do things the Starfleet way, but we still are on our own.
Yeah, because it would be interesting to see Janeway a bit in conflict. Not that I think she'd be super in conflict, but she's been her own admiral. And so that she take orders again, which, she's a Starfleet captain. That's what she does. But it's been 6 years. And so, what happens when she has the bad admiral saying, you're going to go this way, not that way. And she's like,
whoa.
I'm admiral of this quadrant.
In Paris, an admiral? That's a bit of a...
He's an actual Section 31 agent. This would be the episode where it's revealed. And,
He's a bad dadmiral.
That's true.
Wow.
That's his one flaw. Yeah.
There you go.
No, but I think that would be interesting to explore is, because they obviously talk a bit once the contact is reestablished, but they never approach that subject of, is the chain of command reconnected, or is it really, not? Because
is she having is Captain Janeway sending in her reports now? Look, guys, you're not going to believe what happened.
So Neelix and Tuvok were merged into the same person.
Awkward.
Guys, I can't remember which episode it is. I think it is the Neelix goes the Talactian episode. I think it is.
Yeah.
I think it's Naomi because she has like 3 appearances this season, and she has grown up a little bit. But anyway, she's talking, I think, to either that kid, the Talaxian kid, but she is saying, and this one time, Tuvok and Neelix were like, you're bringing this up? You're bringing this up. We're not allowed to talk about it. You think you're not allowed to bring it up in the actual show?
Oh, boy. Imagine how traumatic that experience would have been for a little girl.
Yeah, bring that up to Neelix if you want to.
Neelix, what are your memories like for that period of overlap with Tuvok? Like, because obviously you remember something. Do you remember dying again?
What are the moral implications of your existence now that you killed a man? So.
Yeah, dude. Well, and it's interesting because, you know, and we talk about like, oh, well, what if during season 7 we're seeing them make tons of progress? And another reason why they don't is because I'm pretty sure they had the homestead idea early on where we can't, our last jump has to be a big jump because we have to still be remotely in Talaxian space before we leave. Otherwise, Neelix is alone.
I mean, but I don't remember why, why he left early.
Yeah, Homestead. It's an interesting episode. Like I said, it's the season's episode. Yeah, not great, not bad. It's basically there's this. The refugees, because remember Talaxia was destroyed in the nuclear war. Yeah, so I mean they are where they are, but they're inside an asteroid in a mining area, and these aliens who own it want to mine it, and so basically Neelix ends up sort of like dieharding it. I mean, not that. But basically, like he like beams over there and like rallies them up and helps them create a shield grid and basically becomes their leader. I mean, I'm exaggerating
Falls
slightly.
in love with the Talaxian woman and her child.
And the kid, you know.
Yeah, but why couldn't we have just left Neelix behind then at that point? He wanted to leave. So
They do.
They do.
Yeah, I understand. But you were saying that they had to leave him a certain amount behind because...
I meant like in space. If let's say, because this was episode 22 of 24.
I know, for some reason I thought it was like the next to last one. It's not. There's like 3 other episodes. There's just not Neelix.
It's Homestead, Renaissance Man, and then Endgame. So it's like, it's second, third to last at best. But what I guess I meant was, okay, if here's the path of Voyager from the beginning of season 7 to home, we can't have like, okay, 10 episodes in, we jump, 20,000 light years closer, and now because we're completely out of Talaxian. That's all I'm saying is if
you want to get in contact with Neelix.
Yeah, if they had moved too close.
That's my point. So if
he has to be in the last episode.
He has to be in the last episode. It's fine. Have him send a message or whatever. I mean,
that's true.
Whatever. It's fine.
It was interesting because it reminds me almost of a Doctor who, like in the last, before the Doctor regenerates, you usually have to have somehow every companion, even the ones who've long been gone, still show up. So they do get like the conversation. Seven's playing Coscott with Neelix over the, subspace. So it's like, we gotta have him in. I'm like, you didn't have Kess in for the last one, but anyway. So yeah. What do y'all think? I mean, you probably don't care, but like, what do you think about leaving Neelix behind? Like, this man goes so far, and then like right when you're there, you're like, eh.
I mean, I feel like the reason they gave for him to stay is a good reason.
I admit,
like, if it had been like, I just don't know, because that would have been another. I think he does start to think about it in that episode where he's like, well, what would I do in this Federation? Like, what, is there a place for me there? Which is good. I think interesting things to explore. But yeah, I mean, I'm fine with them leaving him. It's a long-term traveling companion, really, that they have in this part of space. It gets the lined corridor walk-off moment, like Worf does. Nice, yeah. So
Tuvok does a dance.
I'm very satisfied with Homestead. I think if they're gonna have him stay, it was a very good episode for establishing the reasons for that.
I think it's more interesting than him just going back and putting on a Starfleet uniform as an ensign or whatever. Yeah, like it's a good personal reason why he would have the only connection he has is this crew, and so if there's a better crew for him, people that need him, and he would feel wanted. That makes sense. So I think it's just I almost wish it happened a little earlier, but then I guess you get rid of the actor a little bit. Like the first episode or first couple of episodes of season 7. Yeah, I just think because it's happening right at the end. It's just that's convenient, but it's fine.
So one thing from because I feel like season 6 bleeds a little into what I'm about to say, but season 6, season 7, the Doctor is a terrible person. Like, I don't know if you all know that. Like, he's funny and it's arrogant. He is a legitimately terrible person. There's so many I say so many. There's like 3 or 4 episodes in that time period of it's the one where the aliens who don't know music and he becomes like an opera star. He's such a jackass. But that's not the only one. There's legitimately several episodes where his ego goes up his what, and he pushes the crew, and if it happened once or twice, it happened several times, and you're like, this guy's kind of an ass. I mean, the Doctor. It's played for laughs a lot of times, but he puts the ship I don't know, at risk per se, but
yeah, I mean, we get
piss off his friends many times.
Is kind of the second to last, Doctor episode, and he saves the day, but yeah, author. Where it's I made this holo novel that shows you all to be a bunch. But it's not you. I changed the name to Lieutenant Marcier. Yeah,
just no sense of.
Yeah, I was again thinking about how they get home, and I really like our idea of Starfleet finds a way. That's relatively simple. I think, and we could even still use the transwarp corridors, because I think it would be really cool if they use the transwarp corridors, get home, and they're able to use them again. Imagine that, because again, it's fictional. You could have her what, but that would be so. Neelix doesn't stay in the Delta Quadrant. He comes back, and then towards the very end of the last episode, they're like, "Oh, but we can go back." Like we've literally opened up the Delta Quadrant to exploration with the transwarp corridor, and the Borg are gone, so we can use it. So I think that would be a really interesting ending.
Well, it almost makes me think of Star Trek Continues. What if they ended the whole series that you see Admiral Janeway? I mean, it's not years past. It's we've done this thing. She gets home, and they're just like, there you go. And it's Admiral Janeway, and then her first order is to Captain Chakotay, who's taking Voyager back for, it doesn't have to be a 5-year mission, because that'd be too a bit on the nose. But he's going to take Voyager back, Captain Chakotay. You sort of show that.
I thought
it
he
could
was
be a week later.
I thought he was busy with the Protostar.
Or he's taking Voyager back, and they have one scene where they're in the expanded shuttle bay, and they're like, there's shuttles everywhere, just packed to the rafters, every square centimeter.
We've heard about you, Captain.
They're like, you know what? We just felt like, what's this extra pontoon on the bottom of the saucer? Those are all photon torpedoes. We need a lot of photon torpedoes. And what's this giant dish on the back? Well, that's to communicate. We just in case something happens.
I know they say you shouldn't fight the last war, but we kind of
actually. Or there could even be a line where Chakotay's like, when I said I wanted to go back, I was thinking more in a galaxy class, but I mean, the Intrepid's okay.
And then one more character aspect that struck me this season, because it's one of those things you just, or maybe it's just me, you think about, but then you really think about it, and I don't know if it makes sense. So Harry Kim, never promoted, so not even that. But that Harry Kim wants to be a captain. But then I thought about it. He's an engineer. I mean, look, Harry Kim can be whatever he wants. I'm not here to crush anyone's dreams, but that's a weird thing. He doesn't wear red.
He doesn't try to get into the
he's really
command
good at
program.
I mean, I could see he wants to be a chief engineer, but it's kind of this thing that they've added, and maybe it's been subtle the whole time because he's the frustrated ensign, that I want to be a captain. I'm like, That's new.
It feels like someone out of Starfleet Academy's dream. Like, I'm going to be a captain someday. It's like, dude, you're established in your career track. I think that starship has sailed.
Like, I could see him like, I want to be chief engineer of a starship. I mean, he could have bigger than that. I mean, I'm not saying that's where, a ceiling. But, like, it just seems, because Nightingale is what I'm thinking of, that episode. Oh, I get to be a captain.
Yeah.
I'm like, but you're an engineer. Like,
Well, I'd say he should have wanted to be like a department head of something, like or head, and I think he achieves this, like head of one of the watches, something like that. Like, because again, he is a member of the bridge crew, but he is also an ensign. Like that, he needs something to.
Because you get the whole he commands Delta shift on the night duty, which is fine. That can be a duty. I mean, Beverly did it. Just not like I'm not saying everyone has to act by color of department, but I'm just saying
I think Data did it as well because nobody else was sleeping, so he didn't care. It just would have been interesting if that had been tweaked more to not just be like, as you say, well, we all want to be captains, but like surely we all don't. I mean, all Starfleet officers or even Star Trek fans, I'm sure they would like to be other things, and it'd be cool if we found what Harry Kim wants to be, and maybe again that's that whole we're going to go home. What does Harry Kim need with the captaincy?
Maybe he wants to be a ship designer.
Has taught us anything, it's that you can switch tracks as often as you want. With
True.
the support of your friends and commanding officers,
and a small temporal anomaly to give you lots of study time.
Because I mean, it'd be interesting, like assume he wants to be a captain. Okay, I'll accept that. What's his next job? So, I mean, assume he gets home, they make him a lieutenant junior grade. So, like...
You're going to get a nice Obrith,
But, I mean, what's his next job?
Go patrol some gaseous anomalies.
Third in charge of what's his... Helmsman? I mean, he's not a helmsman. I mean, what does he want to be?
Because he should just go home and be a flautist.
Because Tuvok was tactical.
Right.
And he's ops, right? He's basically
Harry's Data. Yeah.
He would have sat in that other chair in the front if it had been like the Enterprise D.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's just odd to me. I mean, maybe if that's what he wants to be, it would have been interesting. 5 episodes in, he goes to the Red Tunic or something, and okay, well, yeah, that's cool. And now he's going to study for the command track when he gets home.
I mean, there's not that much color, so it's not that hard to change. Yeah. As that's true, because it's really just Janeway and Tuvok. There is no other command unless I'm blanking on somebody.
I mean, Chakotay, which is easy to forget.
Yeah.
But
that's
I said you were.
Is that what I said? I meant,
you said Tuvok.
Oh, I meant Janeway and Chakotay.
Well, Paris. Paris wears red.
That's right. Okay, I knew I was forgetting somebody, but
to me that's also interesting. And again, this is a nerd detail thing, but that's why we do this. Like Paris doesn't really have rank. I mean, he's a prisoner. Like I don't know.
Well, he moves up
for
and down
someone who doesn't
in rank.
have rank. His rank changes quite a bit.
It does, yes.
But I mean, like even the Maquis technically have rank. But you know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, I don't know what commission he had. Like in other words, is he going to? Right. I mean, we know because we know. But like in this world of the 7th season, does he know? Oh yeah, I'm going to be a lieutenant in Starfleet when I get back.
And they're like, sure, Tom,
the one on probation.
I would think a very large chunk of the Voyager crew, when they got back to Earth, would if not take a sabbatical, maybe even resign. They said,
there's a lot of people resigning.
We saw some
7 years with no break. Yeah. I'm done. I did my duty.
I don't want to go past Pluto. I'm going to stay in solar system for like a year.
It was like that guy in Good Shepherd in season 6 who was I just had to do starship duty before I could do be a theoretical scientist.
Oh,
on Starbase.
Who doesn't even want to be?
Yeah, I know. They're all going to work Starbase. Yeah. All Starbase.
And you know which Starbase is the best Starbase?
The Earth one.
Starbase. Right there.
You can just go beam up and
look out the window every day. It's right there. What's the worst thing that's ever happened to Starbase Wood? It's like, maybe a whale probe that one time. It's like 40, 50 years ago.
I mean, you say the Dominion Wars. Look, they weren't through the Dominion War, so they didn't even go through that. So,
they're like, the what?
They're like, Earth was attacked? What?
They're like school kids with their pamphlets, like reading all at the museum. They're like, we don't know what's happened. So it's
What do you mean you don't know about the Dominion War? You're Starfleet. What do you? Oh, you're one of you were in the Snap. Okay, the Voyager,
Exactly.
the Voyager, basically.
They call it the blip.
The
yeah.
Voyager blip.
Yeah. But yeah, because like it's like welcome home, and then they're like going up to all the Maquis people. We'll take that rank, and we'll take that rank, and we'll take that rank. That's for real people.
And you know how, because again, we talk about 1 or 2 Coda episodes, which I think really would have worked well. I'm just now picturing a scene where they're in Starfleet. You know, it's the everybody clap scene. You know, they come in, but they're all in their uniforms, and everyone else is in the DS9 uniforms. Like that would be a really cool dichotomy of like, yeah, this is a ship out of time that is back now. And you know, someone could even give a little rub of like, you know, it's like, maybe it's time to update the uniforms. You know,
You're out of uniform there, Captain. Could be the first thing Admiral Paris says.
well, or maybe he tries to make her an admiral, and he's like, I think it's time we update your uniform, and he opens up, you know, the Admiral Pips. And
It's time to update the uniform, and you open up, you think it's going to be Admiral Pips, and it's just the gray uniform in the box. You know,
it unfolds.
Yeah, if you want to look like everyone else does, that'd be great. We've been sending you the replicator pattern for the past 6 months. I don't know why.
You know, it just did. Our replicator energy is really weird. It's different than your replicator energy for some reason.
It runs off this gel stuff.
Yeah.
I know you guys forgot about that.
But yeah, by the time when you guys left, we found out that gel stuff does not work.
I was going to say, I'm
It turns
imagining
into cheese, man. Did you guys figure that out?
I'm imagining an engineer now being like, wait, you were on an Intrepid class? Wait, did you get the gel pack upgrade before you left? You didn't? Like, that's amazing. That's incredible. You made it back. Like, we've been having
tell me you had an
so much trouble.
EMH1.
Yeah. We've been having so much trouble with, so wait, so you got back with the recalled gel pack system and EMH Mach 1, which we discontinued for...
Oh, no, they're not discontinued. They're working the Delinium mines.
Yeah. Wait, how long did you leave it on? Like, that's... You know that voids your EMH warranty, right?
But anyway.
1,000 hours at the most. You're supposed to run that thing.
But yeah, so I didn't. I mean, I thought.
And then Mark
7
shows up with the dog, and everyone cries.
Oh, dog's dead. I mean,
What? No. It was a pup. Oh, no. It wasn't. Maybe it died, yeah.
But yeah, no,
had
I don't.
puppies,
I'm
I
not
think.
saying I don't want
Yeah.
Mark to show up because there's no reason for that.
Well, no, if you do a Coda episode, you definitely have him show up. But he's married and has kids and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just... It's
well, we know that.
He gives her the new uniform. Here you go. I bought this. For you.
He's the one.
You left some of your stuff.
I replicated this for you. Yeah.
But anyway, I thought season 7 was good, even though. But I mean, you know, I think if you compare it to like TNG season 7, which was not its best. I'm not saying it's bad, but I thought season 7 Voyager kept where it was.
Well, but the difference between TNG and Voyager is the mission statement, the point of the series. Like, again, we talk a lot about Voyager being the get home is the arc, and TNG didn't have that. It was like, I was completely satisfied with TNG being, and then the Enterprise went off to another mission. Like that. That's
I'm
what
talking
I
about the whole
want.
season, though. Season
No,
7
true.
was like, everyone has a family member. Did you know that,
Yeah,
guys? And I was like,
yeah.
because this was, I mean, this is.
We want to call this episode family. Oh, we did that already? Okay, I guess we'll think
Brothers?
of another.
No.
Yeah.
Can we do sisters, or is that too on the nose?
In-laws.
Because I think season 7 TNG is funny because it's the season that wasn't supposed to happen. I mean, because it was, as I understand it, it was 6-year contract or whatever it was, 5-year contract on top of it, whatever. But it basically, they had to like pay up the wazoo for season 7, and so, which was fine. I mean, it's TNG, we want more, but it's also like, what stories do we have for season 7? I don't know. How about Q takes him to a Ren fair? Like, anyway.
Now, Philip, I know for a fact that you're not wrapping up this topic without bringing up the number one subject that people are sore about in season 7 of Voyager.
Which
7
one?
and Chakotay.
Oh, Chakotay?
You didn't even mention it, man.
Well, I mean, because it happens. Like, it literally... Because there's the holodeck episode, which I'm not counting. But there is the real-life date. But that's Endgame. I mean, that's literally when it happens. You know, she basically has the holodeck Chakotay, which, I mean, I don't count that.
I mean, Tony Stark got married and had a kid in Endgame in one movie. So, like, you know.
Well, I mean, because Admiral Janeway says they were married when Chakotay died.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Daniel. Like, it felt like at the goalpost, we're throwing in something into their bios for some reason. I don't know. But
I mean, it'd be like using the last episode to say, like, Picard and Beverly got married and divorced. I mean, that'd be crazy if you just
At
did
least
that.
they had pre-existing
right at the end.
relationships.
or again, like Chakotay gets back and he's like, I'm officially resigning my commission, and then kisses Janeway or something like that. Like, I don't know. Do something.
Oh, people would have freaked out if they did that.
Yeah, why not? Give it to him. Give it to
What
him.
you do is, you like, right before you end it, like, so dinner tonight, Catherine? And then, like, credits. You're like, because I will say, now that you got me on you got me on the 7 topic. I thought, because, you know, it's very easy. Oh, 7. I thought they played it really well. Her evolution this season, because it's really, season 7 is good. She has the episode where, like, she is doing the holographic Chakotay, and she starts having real emotions, but she can't because of her Borg stuff. I forget what it's called. Cortical node, whatever.
Cortical node, yeah.
And,
it's always that dang
prevents her.
node.
It breaks down because she's having emotions, because it's preventing her from having emotions. And so I mean, you really do see her becoming more human. I think they weight as in WEIGHT, weight it a little bit towards the end, which I feel like they could have spread it a little bit more. I know, you know, people get tired of 7 because they're good episodes. It's not like they're bad. It's maybe just you're like, we have other characters. So yeah, that would be the only thing I would say. So yeah. And I did forget, because I remember in Prodigy, we saw Admiral Janeway with the tea. They established in Endgame that Admiral Janeway is drinking tea at that point. So Prodigy fills in that gap because she's like younger Admiral Janeway. So anyway. All right, well, any final Season 7 Voyager thoughts before we all count 3, 2, 1 and press the button on play on Broken Bow?
I will say we could get some Voyager, late Voyager fill-in through Prodigy now that we're getting those characters again. So, you know, they could definitely have, like, conversations about what it was like when they got back and what other people are up to and that sort of stuff. So that'd be cool to see. Kind of a post Voyager information.
No, that would be really interesting. I mean, especially since we've been using Janeway and Chakotay, and it's like, what's everyone else doing? What's the Doctor doing?
Well, Lieutenant Paris, we know,
He's
got
on
full
the
lieutenant on lower decks. So
that's true. With his plate.
Yep. So anyway, cool. All right. Well, until next week, I'm Philip Gilfus.
I'm Daniel Prue.
And I'm Darren Moser.
Stranded here on City Alpha 3.